So this is not Windows 2000 or Windows XP. No, this is a Linux distribution running with IceWM, so the small and lightweight window manager for Linux. So this is basically a Linux distribution, and I want to show you what this Linux distribution is all about. As you can see here, we have a pretty much Windows 2000 or Windows XP Classic mode like look. And as you can see here, we have some desktop icons. If I just double click on one of them, you can see it will open up a file manager. This is in this case PCManFM, which also, as you can see, uses a Windows 2000 Windows Classic like look and feel. You can just mount hard drives in here, just like for example this one in here, and you can then unmount them again. So this is pretty much the file manager. You can let me just show you that there's also network transparency in here. If I go to networks, you can see I have the option to join Windows networks, SFTP, NFS, whatever you want. You can just simply go into there, mount them, and use them. And as you can see, it's using the Windows XP icon theme in here, which looks pretty nice, pretty classic, but it's not bad, not very bad. So what do we have here? We have a taskbar with a start menu with some quick launch items, show the desktop, terminal emulator, web browser, and file manager. Basically the same web browser and file manager as you can see here on the desktop. We have a nice little tray icon for managing audio volumes. As you can see here, you can just call up a mixer, which will then bring up other mixer. In this case, you can see a terminal application. Basically, we can set up different mixer types in here, different volumes and so on. And WinXP, so a network manager that allows you to connect to wireless networks or networks in your local area network. And you have a clock basically. So let me go to the menu and show you some applications. This is basically trimmed for running on low resources. So I fired this even up on a very, very old computer with 120 megabytes of RAM. It just worked fine, but I had a swap partition with I think 512 megabytes of RAM there also. But normally it should just work with 128 megabytes of RAM if you have a swap file. So let me fire up some applications. Accessories, there we have a calculator, there we have LeafPad, there we have PCManFM, what I showed you before. We have Xarchiver for decompressing and compressing archives. And then we have XFE, which is, by the way, the very, very old, or the classic file manager that once was developed for XFC, I guess. And this one just kind of reminds me of Windows XP Explorer or the WinFileExe, so the Windows 3.1 or 3.11 file browser basically. As you can see here, we have a tree view on the left and we have a normal file view on the right. We can change the view to list view or to icon view or detailed list view. And you have the option to just change the layout to two-panel layout, which just looks like this. Reminds you of Total Commander or something, or the Midnight Commander, but in graphical modus, as you can see in here. We have show one panel only and show three panels, which is pretty nice. So this is basically XFE. You have some quick launch items, just like show hidden folders, show hidden files, show thumbnails. So if you're just browsing into a file system with pictures, for example, and filter, so I can show files of a specific suffix or something like this. Then you have also a trash management, so you can go to trash in here. As you can see here, it's just has a trash management. You can see the trash size, you can empty the trash can. You have some tools, just like executing a command and executing a terminal in the folder you are currently in, as you can see here. And you have also some other nice options. Just let me go back to my user folder. I can compress, for example, if I right click, add to an archive my videos directory or some files. As you can see here, it has lots and lots of file formats, also 7-zip or so on. Very new format is available in here, as you can see. And yeah, this is basically creating new files, creating new folders, creating symlinks, copy, cut, paste, show file properties, change permissions. This is basically a very good file manager, and it runs pretty fast, even on low computer resources, and even with large files and large directory trees. It runs pretty fast and pretty good. So this is basically the accessories menu. Let me go and show you some other applications. There we have the graphics Junior, a nice little image viewing application, basic image viewing application. We have GIMP in the latest version 2.8. So a nice image editor. As you can see here, it all renders pretty nice and just looks like the Windows 2000 look in here, as you can see. And then we have also an GTK3 app called gthumb, which allows you to just import audio, video, and graphics from your smartphone or even your camera, digital camera. So this is a nice little application as well. Under multimedia, we have Audacious, which by the way comes with a pretty nice and nostalgic theme, as you can see here. Just completes the look of the whole distro, and very nice Winamp old classic theme. Works pretty nice under the hood. It's just Audacious 3.24, and you can just simply switch to another visualization, another view interface, GTK interface if you'd like to. But I like to stay classic in here, which is pretty nice. And you have GNOME M Player, which comes also in a nice new version 1.06. And then under network, you have Firefox, your web browser. You have Pidgin for instant messaging and RSC and so on. And you have Sulfit for email. And under Office, you have AbiWord as word processing, and a nice little PDF viewer. So one last thing that I want to show you before we go to the settings or something like this is this distribution is based on Debian Wheezy, and to my surprise it is not only Debian Wheezy, as you can see here, Debian Wheezy 7.0, but I also find out this is a remix of basically the distribution that I care about. It's a remix of Neptune. So in this case, a very early release of Neptune 2.0 RC, which was remixed with kernel 338, and yeah, this is basically my hardware here, 1 gig of RAM, but you don't need 1 gig of RAM. Just let me open up HTOP, which comes pre-installed. You can see it runs very good in 127 megabytes of RAM. I also booted it up on a very old machine with 128 megabytes of RAM and a swap partition, and this just works fine, and I could install it and it was working fine. I did not manage it to boot on 64-bit megabytes of RAM, but I used a trick to just simply the mem command for the kernel to just address only 64 megabytes of RAM on the same machine, which comes with 120 megabytes, 128 megabytes of RAM. So might be a problem there that it's swapping too hard, or I just did not wait long enough to boot it up. But the live system is working with 128 megabytes of RAM if you have a swap partition. So let me put this in here. Let me go to the system settings, or the system menu in this case. So this is basically the IceWM static menu, as you can see. So you don't have such things just like the .desktop standard, freedesktop.org standard for menus that's working in here. So all these menu entries are just manually created. And what you have in here, for example, adjust volume, which will open up the ALSA mixer. You have an option to change the GTK2 theme. You have monitor settings, which opens up the screen layout monitor editor, which is basically a render. And you have printer administration, which will just open up Firefox and navigate to the CUPS configuration center. And you have, of course, the terminal, RxTV Unicode I showed you before. And you have Synaptic Package Manager, which is nice, so you can just install software. You even have the software center, which kind of seems not to work. Just open it up and you will see that it gets stuck in loading the software, basically. I don't know why. Maybe it's a Debian bug, I'm not sure. Just loading and keeping loading forever, but as you can see here, it's an maybe I'm the culprit in here because it's an RC version, and yeah, we had once an own software center created. As you can see, it's the Neptune version. Maybe the one guy that created this distribution should update it to a software center that actually works. So the next thing I want to show you is there's an automatic configuration monitor. So you have here the settings basically, and here are some quick settings like automatic configure monitor. What I tried out already is it's just executing an xrender auto to automatically configure monitor settings. There's an auto start configuration. If you click on this, it will just simply pop up a text editor where you can just simply see the different commands that get executed on startup of IceWM. So it's simply startup file from IceWM. As you can see here, there's also PCMan FM-D running, the daemon mode. So if you plug in a USB stick or something like this, or camera or whatever, it would just pop up, just like in the old Windows XP days, pop up a nice little window asking you what you want to do. You've plugged in a new USB hard drive or thumb drive, which is pretty nice. By the way, also wall wheel, this is this little icon in here, works also with the XF86 volume control buttons. So if you have special buttons on your keyboard or your laptop, it will work. At least it worked for me. And then there is edit menu, which allows you to edit the menus. So this is basically the structure of this menu. As I said before, it's a static menu created for IceWM, but as you can see, it's just easily editable. As you can see, proc, then the name, then the icon, and then the command to execute, and you have some menu, subfolders, and so on. Pretty easy to edit, I think, and yeah, pretty easy to understand. Then there is edit quick launch items, simply the same, just for the quick launch bar. As you can see here, the three icons in here. That you can set. You can set even more icons if you like to. The key map configuration, which should open up. Saw it before. Alex key map. It's not working, as you can see here. It's just another bug I found. Index list index out of range. Seems to be a bug in here. But it worked before with my German keyboard layout. So maybe some strange bug in here, but it's based on a RC version, so don't expect too much in here. And you have the option to take a screenshot, which will just simply take a screenshot, and you go to your there it is, to your home folder, and there you have the screenshot. You can just take a look at the screenshot. And by the way, in GThumb you have some nice little easy options to convert or resize the image. One thing that I want to show you also is, if you don't like this Windows 2000 Windows XP look, which is very light and very fast, perhaps it's IceWM that's so fast, but I really like it. You have the option to change settings. One thing that I missed out, there's a run menu. So if you click on run, it will open up a nice little GM run, I think it is, and you can type in FI, hit tab, and it will allow you to open up any files. As you can see here, it's a nice little run menu. So let me go back to themes. So under settings, I have some themes, and not only some. I think all the IceWM themes that look nice or gorgeous are in here. So what if I want to change my look and feel to a more classic, not classic, to a more modern style, from classic to modern? So like, for example, to Windows 7 style, I can just simply type in Windows, apply the Windows 7 theme. As you can see, it will change automatically the background, and you can see I have now a Windows 7 like theme. Let me open up a terminal here. You can see also the buttons in here. The title bar changed. I can also change this to Windows Vista-like theme. So this dark looking taskbar and darker looking border of, and I can change it to Ultra Real Vista, which looks a little bit different, as you can see here. By the way, this little brownish bottom at the bottom just, I think, disappears when I just simply let me restart IceWM. And normally it should disappear. Don't know. Maybe it's a bug. But you have many themes, and one theme that I really like was the option to just simply go in here, ambience. Hit the ambient theme, which looks like modern Ubuntu. And what I can do now is just, as you go to the menu, you can see it's still using Windows 95 looking icons and so on. What I can do is just go to System and then GTK2 change theme. What I can do here is just change the widget theme to ambience. And hit apply. And as you can see, the next thing is icons. So I can change the icons to mist, for example. And other desktop icons aren't changing as they are fixed in here. Let me open up. By the way, I can also move the icons if I like to. Let me open up another application. For example, Firefox. You can see that it's now using the nice little ambient theme, and this just looks nice. I really think this just looks nice. One thing that you can do is to change the desktop icons and so on, is you can double right click, which is pretty nice, which will open up a pop-up, and you can see here now I can edit the properties of this icon. I can delete this icon if I don't like it. I can create a new icon on the desktop. I can refresh the whole desktop if I'd like to, or I can configure the conf file for iDesk, which is basically the program that's creating these icons on the desktop. Now we go to properties here, and here I can see the name of the document. I can see the command on left click, the command on right click, and I can also set a nice little icon for it. So I can just simply change the icon here to a proper icon format. But this just really is looking nice, and you can see that I can change the theme and the whole look and feel, just like going to Haiku here, setting a Haiku theme, going to the GTK2 theme, setting up Haiku as GTK theme, and then you have a gorgeous looking Haiku-like experience. Let me just change the icon theme. I think there's also a Haiku theme. Haiku icons, hit apply. Mouse cursor theme, if I want to change it, I can change it also. It's not PCman FM. Just let me kill all PCman FM and then run it again, and now it's working, as you can see. So it's pretty much very customizable. It's pretty much running low on resources and just looks gorgeous, I think. And it's a pretty nice little distro I found, and I'm not sure if it was just a fun distro with no future. I didn't found any any website or something like this. By the way, also ClearLux support is built in, so I have a nice ClearLux view in here. So pretty much very nice themes, and even GNOME free. Not bad, not bad. So it really makes Oxygen for KDE lovers. So let me just take a look if I can make it look like KDE. Pretty nice, as you can see. So perhaps you have to install an icon theme or something like this for the more KDE-ish look. But as you can see, it's just a nice flexible configuration tool. Of course, what's one thing that I miss is just setting up a nice little wallpaper, because right click just opens up the normal menu in here. But what I can do is just simply, I think, go to the auto start configuration and then use the how it is called, I think IceWM BG. Let me ask for help here. Yeah, and you can just set then a desktop background without any problem, as you can see here, and you can set it in here according to the preference file. So you can set it centered, tiled, and so on. So just add it to the auto start IceWM BG and then the image format, and it will, or the image, the path to the image, and then it will just simply set the image background. Pretty nice little distro. I hope you enjoyed this little screencast, and yeah, thanks for watching.